Welcome one and all to another all open mic at Stone Soup Poetry. The features are coming, I do promise. It's great to have you all here and have a great turnout and have some old friends, hopefully a couple of new friends coming our way. A great announcement that I can't wait to can't wait till later to announce. Dexter Garcia, past Stone Soup feature, is going to be returning next week to join our Zoom call on our virtual podium. She actually has a brand new book out. And I've been checking out her work. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put a link in our chat to her website, The Lab Creative Works. It's a website where you can actually see her brand new book. She actually has, I think, several books available. Love Poems to My Not Lover is her latest book, and that's available for $12. You don't have to buy it tonight, but I'd strongly consider buying it. She's actually had a couple of books out through GoFundMe and other funds. This looks like her most put together package yet. And of course, she was a poet when we were still meeting live and still meeting at the Out of the Blue Gallery. She was very involved in the Stone Soup Slams. She featured at least once for us. Before we had to move to a new location. I've been trying to get her back for a very long time. I recommend you look at the work, and I recommend you come by and support her. Every little bit helps. And she was recommended to me by Nava the Butterfly, who is in talks with me to return. She can't really do a Zoom call right now. She would love to do a live event, and we're trying to figure out when that could be. In a perfect world, it would be for our 51st anniversary, but we still owe some people to come back for a live show for the 50th. So we'll see how many people we can make happy coming up. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and more announcements will come. We're going to get started with the open mic, starting with the people who've been waiting patiently. I'm going to give it up for Karen Sklaney, who has been not only a contributor to this open mic, but a contributing photographer to Oddball magazine. You'll see more of her work, written work, come in April, as we're going to be inviting the visual contributors of Oddball to submit their own poetry / photo combination or / artwork combination. Some of the poets paint, some of the poets take photography. So we can't wait to feature those people. Bill Wolock, I'm hoping to get a poem in. There's a couple other people who we've known mostly through the artwork, but we're going to see their poetry through Oddball for the first time, if all goes well. For now, let's welcome up Karen as the first person in our open mic.
Hi, Chad, it's Karen. I have to keep my video off at the moment. I have to appear only in voice tonight. Is that okay?
Okay, if you're afraid that we're going to steal your soul, I understand. So read away.
Oh, who knows about tonight? So this poem is called Ode to the Elements. This is my last ode of February.
Okay.
The voice of the elements teach us the ways to heal our planet through healing ourselves. All we ever need comes from the elements: food, shelter, warmth, company, and the wonder that births creativity. All creatures of earth are our teachers. The voices of the elements lead us back home to ourselves. They remind us of the balms they offer for healing our hearts and spirits. They play together to bring us joy, inviting us to dance to their music. Sweet fragrances from plants and trees are carried on air currents, bringing us visions of beautiful gardens, returning to us our smiles with scents from paradise. Light from sunshine and fire, the colors of sunrise and sunsets, play on the ground with shadows of leaves and branches, to return the sparkle of life to screen-weary eyes. Water splashes seeds that grow into plants of many sizes, feeding us and giving us shade. Some become strong vines for us to swing from place to place. Waves wrestle with us on sandy shores, rounding all pounding all tensions out of our bodies and washing away our worries. Together, the elements lead us to worlds of wonder, easing our hearts and minds, regenerating all our cells, healing each fiber of our being. Thank you, elements, for inviting us to the feast of your earthly gifts, to your table of renewal and revelry. In return, you ask us to tread lightly where we move about and to leave nothing behind but the rhythm of our heartbeats. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. So that's the last one you're writing for this month. There's a couple more days in February. Oh,
I
wow.
wrote it today, and it's the last ode.
Okay.
So there's only a few more days. I'm going to do something else. I might try to work on a limerick, but it might take me a few weeks for March.
I hear you. All right. Well, thank you so much for that. And thanks for getting the ball started rolling. And we're going to pass the ball over to Jan Rowe. Looks like you're still on speaker. You're still on mute, Jan.
I think I said I was going to do something. I did at the open mic, and it reminds me of our Ethan having music. So this is from 6 years ago, the Black Sea Writers, about Nestles. It's, for some reason, Nestles made me think of this song. Can you hear it in the background? Can you hear little Anthony?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think it was triggered by Nestles and Kamala Harris appears together somewhere. You know, Nestles with the formula and the dirty water and more. Okay. So this Shimmy Shimmy Cocoa Pop, Nestles uses child slaves to harvest cocoa pods. Nestles uses child slaves to harvest cocoa pods. Okay, so we're doing this at the cathedral. This is just a new thing, right? Well, anyway, this is part 2. Greedy, put it on, honey, can you stop it? Or shut it down. Greedy, then Michigan Governor Rich Snyder, just turn it down. Chief of Staff sponsors was Nestle's executive worker there. So the Nestle Corporation was draining 200 gallons a minute of Great Lakes water, 200 gallons a minute for Nestles. Well, the nearby Flint neighbors were paying $140 a month to flush their toilets, couldn't drink their water. Now, since corporations are people, like Mitt Romney said, you think they would help Flint, like Nestles, maybe give them, 5-gallon jugs or something, like had to get in Delaware. You can't drink the water in Delaware, Some were getting infected with Legionnaire's disease. They let the auto parts go back to the old water, so it wouldn't rust and corrode like that. As kids got dulled with lead. No, Nestle's declined to help. And they're still allowed to do business in California and Arizona, although Pennsylvania sued them about draining the spring. So, like I say, shimmy, shimmy, cocoa pop. Nestles uses child slaves to harvest cocoa pods. And our Supreme Court said that's fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. And let's herald the return of Rita Rose. So good to have you back.
Yes, it's great to be here. I took out this poem, Bleecker Street, not Bleecker like New York, Bleaker. So this is the Bleecker Street. This is where you can find me. I have spent most of my life here, living in the past, worrying about tomorrow, turning a blind eye to the present, a miserable existence. My old age reads like a signpost. Caution, end is near. I have made peace with the years I have squandered. I am grateful my past could never be again. The grim reaper gestures. I buy time. I mesmerize him with a poetry pitch. I recite decades of my verse. He listens, but is no fool. He catches wise. On the corner of Bleecker Street, I lean against the lamppost of here and now, biding time. Biding time. I stall on this avenue of life's remainder. I will stay until my final word, until the street lamp darkens and death waits no more. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita. And who do we have next? Oh, one of our other photography visual contributors to Oddball Magazine. You can see his recent work from last week, and of course, more will be coming. And he's been contributing poetry for our special time on National Poetry Month for the last couple of years. Can't wait to see what he'll give us this time. Until then, let's hear from Gentleman Galt right now.
Hello. This one is called The Laughter of Lance and Scully. I didn't learn anything else in my classes. If I didn't learn anything else in my classes, it's that I was nearsighted and needed glasses. I had wanted to be a big shot, tough guy and bully, like my backlot heroes, Lance and Scully. So to impress them, I spotted my game, and to my everlasting shame, I called them ugly. I called them stupid and ugly and other names. When I got close enough to see their features, I saw to my horror that one was a teacher. There I stood, thunderstruck and most unlucky, for that woman's voice I came to learn could be heard clear to Kentucky. There ended my days as a bully, and I can still hear the laughter of Lance and Scully. Thank you very much. That's one of the few poems I have that actually rhyme any.
I noticed. I definitely noticed that. Thank you, Ed.
You're welcome.
And up next in our open mic, let's welcome up one of our phone contributors calling in. If she'll press *6 to unmute herself, we can hear her right now, Miss Nancy Dotson.
Peppermint. Oh, clouds that break when thunder collapses. Oh, rain which dissolves into wetness. Lightning, I fear you. Do not kill. Sun, come. Do not let the clouds leak through. Come. Delights and joy follow always. Sunny day, carefree and going. Play, play, play.
Thank you so much, Nancy.
Yay, Nancy. Chad, you're muted.
Okay, let me rewind all that. Okay, thank you very much, Nancy. And our next person, I suspect may or may not be on right now. I think he's been in transition for a while. Looks like he's trying to connect to audio right now. So it looks like we'll have to give Chris Fitzgerald a skip for the moment. So we'll go to poet, editor, and event host who'll tell us when the next Brownstone reading is, Miss Patricia Kerrigan.
Hi. Yeah, I got to figure out how to post this stuff now. Oy. Okay, 2 poems. One recent one I just wrote. It's a haiku. Haiku discussion. Words speak out on same subject. War between ideas. Haiku discussion. Words speak out on same subject. War between ideas. And I'll read a short one from Smooth Operator. MTV played smooth Sade jazz, and video addiction slept with dust bunnies. I rode subways to 9 to 5 lies and ate Key Largo fantasies for lunch. Saw diamonds on company ads, never on my finger. Sales pitches advertised, the prize went elsewhere. I couldn't translate some women's trilingual finesse, nor did naivety see city lights dim at the office. The American dream, then and now, smooth operators in suits and heels. Competition had exclusions, and I've never read the fine print. Sophistication acquired, but never the cure for misery. I was a puppet, and dust bunnies need to go. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And let's see who we have next. Well, let's see if Chris was able to join us. Looks like he's still having trouble. I'll mail him a set of rabbit ears so he can actually get decent reception where he is. Let's see. Going to our list, we can welcome someone we haven't seen since, I don't know if we've seen her since your last, I think the last time you were at Stone Soup was when I wasn't there. And I think Blackbird was hosting at the time, but she has featured at Stone Soup. She's been a longtime open micer and several of our locations throughout Cambridge. And in her time away during the COVID years, she's actually written a children's book. Can't wait to read it. Let's welcome up Lee Varon.
Thanks, Chad. This is called His Mother. His mother wondered if he'd prefer an open or closed casket, red cherry or rustic oak, and who would give the eulogy? Would they post it on YouTube? Speech bubbles above our heads are interchangeable. Buzzwords, she, he went out, the call, better place, and so on. My son, there are no spare seasons, and forever is a long way home. I have another short one, Chad, is that okay?
Definitely.
This is called Kestrel. With pointed wings and fan-shaped tail, the kestrel can fly at speeds of 39 miles per hour. The males have gray-blue heads, the color of a bruise. The kestrel can dive down for its prey at 200 miles per hour. This is how quickly fentanyl swoops in. 1 minute, you're moving among the brackish waters of life. The next, gone. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. It's good to have you back.
I'm glad I can make it.
And speaking of people who are making it, let's ask Chris Fitzgerald to unmute. He finally made his way back. And
Can you
Eric?
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
All right, these are just two little pieces over the last 30 years at Stone Soup, 1 page each. What I've learned the last 30 years, reading at poetry venues in Boston, Cambridge, if you haven't written 5, 10 great love letters between your 20th and 30th birthdays, if you haven't convinced one person you are for real, you're not going to convince 10, 20, 100 people you're a poet. That's what poetry is. Convincing the reader or listener that you're for real. Remember Robert Frost's definition of poetry, grabbing life by the throat. If I don't hear throat grabbing in the poem, it's not a poem. I tore apart Eliot, Odd and Pound. Some they were not poets, but apologists for the British Empire or feudalism. was some one line of this with wit, spine, or charm, something able to expand the language, not contract, not that triumvirate whimper, double whimper, triple whimper, reverse whimper, double reverse whimper that they utilize to help choke the life out of the language. Wit, spine, charm. One of those has to be in the poem, or it's not a poem. It's a superior political track. And this is like the second last page of a piece I wrote about a kid who squealed on me about me wearing eyeglasses in the first grade. Indeed, 30 years later, I walk into a convenience store 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning to purchase a beverage, cigarettes for some company, or a bag of mixed nuts that I've been led to believe were on sale. I still check every aisle first, for I can't even remember his name for one problem ending confrontation being I going to sleep that night in Reno, Nevada, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Roanoke, Virginia, or as one of the two you already know, 15 months ago to this day, Shreveport, Louisiana. It was 3:30 in the morning. The household I was staying with ran out of toilet paper. Next thing I know, I hear myself saying, I'll go. It was a mom and pop convenience store. I guess mom was in bed, but pop was still up. And when I swung open the glass door, there seemed to be a smell permeating the air of cosmic. Yes, I said cosmic resolution. Aisle 3 canned goods. He was holding up with his right hand. Yes, that right hand. I guess he was pricing. It looked like a can of Old Lady Horseshit's pumpkin pie filling. Thank you.
It's hard not to have magical memories when you're in Shreveport. I've learned that. Very, very hard. Thank you so much, Chris. And let's turn now to our orator extraordinaire, who's doing his best Kilroy impression. Let's welcome up Mr. John Stern.
There we are. Emily Dickinson had this to say about fame. Fame is a bee. It has a song. It has a sting. Ah, too. It has a wing. Marilyn Monroe said several things about fame. One of them was, fame is like caviar, you know. It's good to have caviar, but not when you have it at every meal. Another time she said, fame will go away, and so long. I've had you, fame. If it goes away, I've always known it was fickle. So at least it's something I experience, but it's not where I live. And a third thing she said was, success makes so many people hate you. I wish it wasn't that way. It would be wonderful to enjoy success without seeing envy in the eyes of those around you. Albert Einstein also said something about fame. There have already been published by the bucketful such brazen lies and utter fictions about me that I would long since have gone to my grave if I had let myself pay attention to them. I console myself with the thought that time has a sieve through which most of these things run into the ocean of oblivion. And again, Emily Dickinson. Fame is a bee. It has a song. It has a sting. Ah, too, it has a wing. Another poem of Emily Dickinson. If you were coming in the fall, I'd brush the summer by with half a smile and half a spurn, as housewives do a fly. I could see you in a year, I'd wind the months in balls and put them each in separate drawers for fear the numbers fuse. If only centuries delayed, I'd count them on my hand, subtracting till my fingers dropped into Van Diemen's land. If certain when this life was out that yours and mine should be, I'd toss it yonder like a rind and take eternity. But now, uncertain of the length of this that is between, it goads me like the goblin bee that will not state its sting. Another Emily Dickinson. Wild nights, were I with thee, wild nights should be our luxury. Futile the winds to a heart in port, done with a compass, done with a chart, rowing in Eden, ah, the sea, might I but more tonight in thee. Which might not be what you would have expected from Emily Dickinson. Another Dickinson. There's been a death in the opposite house as lately as today. I know it by the numb look such houses have alway. The neighbors rustle in and out. The doctor drives away. A window opens like a pod, abrupt, mechanically. Somebody flings a mattress out. The children hurry by. They wonder if it died on that. I used to, when a boy. The minister goes stiffly in, as if the house were his, and he owned all the mourners now, and little boys besides. And then the milliner, and the man of the appalling trade, to take the measure of the house. There'll be that dark parade of tassels and of coaches soon. It's easy as a sign, the intuition of the news in just a country town. Another Dickinson. That love is all there is all we know of love. It is enough the freight should be, proportioned to the groove. And another Dickinson. The heart asks pleasure first, and then excuse from pain, and then those little anodynes that deaden suffering, and then to go to sleep, and then, if it should be the will of its inquisitor, the liberty to die. And finally, this Dickinson. I taste a liquor never brewed from tankards scooped in pearl. Not all the vats upon the Rhine yield such an alcohol. Inebriate of air am I, and debauchee of dew, reeling through endless summer days from inns of molten blue. When landlords turn the drunken bee out of the foxglove's door, when butterflies renounce their drams, I shall but drink the more. Till seraphs swing their snowy hats, and saints to windows run, to see the little tippler leaning against the sun. So wrote Emily Dickinson.
So quoted by John Sturm. Thank you, John. And
Thank you, Chad.
we're going to bring up next Miss Carol Weston. I'm going to help unmute her, and she's going to have her say. You're up, Carol.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm having nine poems published in the Lily Press, and I don't know if they're coming out well within the week. I don't know, something like that. And here they are. This one was written November 16, 2021. I am the stenographer for the queen inside my head. I am not responsible for her mistakes. To November 16, 2021. We are on a magic carpet into outer space. Hold on tight. The atmosphere is bursting. And this one is August 6, 2021. I write to you in the squid ink of my soul. Oh, and this one also 2021. We carry our deaths under the great turtle shell of our being as we crawl toward infinity. That's enough. Thanks.
Thank you, Carol. And
Yay, Carol.
And I think with no one else scheduled to join us, maybe Bill will surprise us, but I think now it's appropriate time to go to our musical interlude with the Pulse of Stone Soup and many other places, venues. He just had a show this past weekend and more to come, I'm sure. Let's welcome up Mr. Ethan Mackler.
Thank you, Chad.
Yay, Ethan.
Thanks, John. I can hear you because you're not muted. Gotcha. Thanks, Chad. Back to you.
All right.
Thank you very much, Ethan. And we're going to end this first round of round robin and go into round two with a little help from Oddball's poet columnist, whose work, It's All One Thing, is featured every Thursday morning at 11 o'clock in the morning at oddballmagazine.com. Consider your own submissions soon, as we're going to be publishing way more people, and we might actually have one of our new interns for the Oddball Foundation be planning out National Poetry Month. So now's a good time to send out your work and have it featured. But for now, let's go over to Mr. James Van Loy.
Thanks, Chad. I got a little haiku here I wanted to read. It does have a title, even if it isn't supposed to. It's If It Melts. 75-year-old kid boot kicks away the ice for next chalk labyrinth, which I actually did make one day. And I actually have here World War III talking blues. So I don't know if, Ethan, do you want to try to do something here? Because this is a talking piece that would go with the blues.
Sure.
World War III talking blues. So here's how it goes. A time ago, a crazy dream come to me. I dreamt I was walking to World War III. I went to this doctor the very next day to see what kind of works he would say. He said it was a bad dream. I wouldn't worry about it none, though. Them dreams are only in your head. I said, hold it, Doc. A world war passed through my brain. He said, nurse, get your cat. Always going insane. He grabbed my arm. I said, ouch. I landed on the psychiatric couch and he said, tell me about it. Well, the whole thing started at 3 a.m. fast, all over by a quarter past. I was down in I was down in the sewer with some little lover when I looked out from the manhole cover, wondering who turned the lights on us. Well, I got up and I walked around, up and down that lonesome town, I stood there remembering which way to go. I lit a cigarette and a parking meter and walked on down the road, and it was a warm day. And I rung the fallout shelter bell, and I leaned my head and I gave a yell, "Give me a string feed, I'm a hungry man." A shotgun fired, and away I ran. I don't blame him too much, though. He didn't know me. Down at the corner by the hot dog stand, I seen a man. I said, "Howdy, friend. I guess this is it, you and me." He screamed about the way he ran. He thought it was a communist. Well, I spied her, and before she could leave, I said, "Let's go play Adam and Eve." I took her by the hand, and my heart was something when she said, "Hey man, are you crazy or something? You know what happened last time they started." Well, I seen me a Cadillac window, and there was nobody around. I got in the driver's seat, and I drove down 42nd Street in my Cadillac. Well, I remember seeing some ads, so I turned on my comrade, but I didn't pay the comrade bill, so the radio didn't work so well. Turned on my record player. It was Crocodile Johnny singing, "Tell your ma, tell your tar, love's a gonna grow." Wow, I was feeling kind of boned and blue. I needed somebody to talk to, so I called up Calculator Time just to hear a voice of some kind. When you hear the beep, it will be 3 o'clock. Said that all for an hour, and I hung up. Well, the doctor interrupted me just about then, saying, "Hey, I've been having that same dream myself. Mine is a little different, you see. I dreamt the only person left after the war was me. I didn't see you around." Well, now time passed, and now it seems everybody's having them daydreams. Everybody sees their self walking around with no one else. Half of the people can be part right all the time, and some of the people can be right part of the time, but all the people can't be all right all the time. I think Abraham Lincoln said that. "I'll let you be in my dream if I can be in yours." I said that.
Thank you, Ethan. And thank you, of course, James Van Loy, getting everything set up. We are ready to go into round robin, round two. Unfortunately, we'll have to do it without the benefit of Karen. She seems to have stepped off of the call. If she comes back, we'll definitely include her again. Until then, looks like we're going right back to Jan Rowe. Our number two has become the number one person.
Go ahead.
So that was another, this is the other part of what I read before. And it's also from the summer of 2016. It's about slaps. You might have heard of a slap lawsuit, strategic lawsuit against public participation slap. Oddly enough, Trump instituted a slap lawsuit against the Nazi bank. What's that bank? The Deutsche Bank? Yeah, he owes them hundreds of millions. So he did a slap lawsuit against them. And I said, strange. Okay, well, anyway, that was the name of this, slap. Perhaps permission was granted for Nestles to pump essentially free 200 gallons a minute from the Great Lakes aquifer. And like no permission asked or given by greedy then Governor Rick Snyder and hoggish hedge funders to initiate water wars by constructing a not needed parallel to existing sufficient water main. As the greed and control addictions progress, Nestle's demanded 400 gallons of water a minute, more than double, despite the creeks and streams running dry. They caused the locals to sue, countering corporate greed. The locals raised $1 million over a decade, and they declined Nestle's offer to finance and thereby control the lawsuit. A local elder and her son, they were slapped with a strategic lawsuit against public participation. Could nearby Nestles with their executive spouse to Snyder's chief of staff help Flint with water, since Nestles essentially gets their water for free, while Flint residents were paying $140 a month for water to flush? You couldn't drink it. Since Snyder and the rich hogs contaminated the water, except to allow GM to switch back, since the drinking water was destroying the motors. And since Romney says corporations are people, will anybody be charged, made to account? At least Pennsylvania refused Nestles to suck dry a creek. Arizona and California are letting them in. They have a whole lot of water. Don't California and Arizona have a lot of water to spare to give to Nestles? And now they're using fracking water for irrigation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. And now I turn you to Rita Rose for one encore left, one round robin, round two punch, two combo.
Okay, well, I got two. One is so short, it's a 10-word micro. Dear Death, I have a bone to pick with you. And this one is Coneflower from my flower poems. It's a pantoum, Coneflower. I am razzmatazz, decked out in double pom-poms and pink petal skirt. My blooms croon in harvest moon and celebrate orange meadows so bright. In summer and early autumn, I am a sight to behold in the dirt. Honeybees and butterflies partake in my rich nectar to their delight. My blooms croon in harvest moon and celebrate orange meadows so bright. Finches feast while spreading a seeded legacy for me. Honeybees and butterflies partake in my rich nectar to their delight. I hardly complain, and in all terrain grow as high as your knee. Finches feast while spreading a seeded legacy for me. In summer and early autumn, I am a sight to behold in the dirt. I hardly complain, and in all terrain grow as high as your knee. I am razzmatazz, decked out in double pom-poms and pink petal skirt. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Rita. And who do we have next? Yes, we have Mr. Gentleman Galt himself. Looks like he got knocked off the call, but he's back on with us. So if you want to join one more time, sir, the mic is yours.
Thank you very much. This one's called Trapping Charlie. Charlie got off his chain one night and went off into the neighborhood. We didn't know how long he had been gone. When he came back, he was not in good shape. Part of the flesh from his tail was hanging off. My mother thought someone had done something to him. Then again, they might have set the trap expecting to get a fox, not a dog. Anything was possible, especially in New Jersey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed. And who do we have next? Yes, we go back to our first phone contributor from earlier in the round robin. All you have to do is press *6, Nancy Dotson. You can come out for one more time. There you go.
First birthday of the puppy. Play hard. Keep cats off your territory while barking constantly, which is fun. I work hard for my mistress. I should make a noise and have a say in life. I wake you up in the middle of the night. Quick, quick, I must go out. Puppy goes out, bark, bark at pussy. Puppy must protect my family. Come there, come in. Puppy runs in. Peace reigns again. Good night. Sleep tight.
Woof, woof. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. And next up, he missed his turn. He missed his turn and had to go later last time. Let's see if he's here now. Yes. Unmute yourself, Chris Fitzgerald, and you can go again. Oh boy. Okay. Looks like Chris is not able to join. Oh, here he is.
Can you hear me? Can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yes. Yes to both questions.
All right. All right. Well, it just appeared the mute thing. All right. These are two little play for the last 10 years or whatever the heck. First off, I would like to thank everybody who was involved in my Yellow Submarine sing-along last week. You were splendid. No, you were. Indeed, I had a hallelujah moment last Monday. As a few of you know, I've been trying to get a few works I've read there published. But after last week's wonderful reception of my Beatles ditty, I will have to give serious consideration. I mean, if this poetry gig doesn't work out in 4 or 5 months, to apply into the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for the position of sing-along songmeister, county fairs, state parks. This land is your land. This song is your song.
I think we lost you, Chris.
Can you now?
Chris, we're losing
Hello?
you. We're losing you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, but we lost you for a good 20 seconds.
Oh.
You were just about to sing "The Song Is Your Song," and then we lost you. But if you want to pick up from there.
Okay, this song is your song. From California. Everyone get along, get along. Oh, sure, I might not know all the words to many of the major hit songs now, but give me a little time. I wouldn't be surprised to hear remarks similar to the Chris Christopherson response when I first heard Janis Joplin sing the song Chris had wrote, Me and Bobby McGee. He said, that's her song now. Don't sit under the app, that's his song. Do a diddy, that's his song. If you like peanut, back to the poetry. I shall read 4 short poems by my favorite woman poet, say the last 3,000 years. Viva Szymborska, a Polish woman I discovered maybe 30 years ago, before she won the Nobel Prize in Literature. Not that more than a few shitheads have won that. I like to get in the money. She had a sharp and scintillating wit, Shaw, Twain, Flaubert. We're talking major belly laughs, brothers and sisters. She died 5 years ago at the age of 88. She was born in 1923, just outside Krakow, Poland, where she would spend most of her life. Poland, from 45 to 89, was a commie pinko hangout. She was for 10 years or so a pinko commie. Life by the throat. I think she was wonderful.
We're losing you again, Chris.
20.
Chris, we're losing you again.
Right.
Can you hear me?
Get ahead.
You're coming. You're breaking up.
I'll have to do something.
Okay. Sorry about that. All right. We're going to move on to the next poet, which would be Patricia Kerrigan.
Okay. This is a jazz poem. A Cool Cat in Town, inspired by Tape 5 and dedicated to Steve Dalchinsky. Like cool cats, jazz purrs. The blues taste like wine, smooth and cool at night. Like jazz, cool cats purr. The blues, smooth and cool, taste like wine at night. Thank you.
Thanks, Patricia. And don't forget to DM Patricia, or actually, Patricia, when you get the chance, you can send me the information for Brownstone's Poet, and I'll share it on Stone Soup later on. But
yeah, for some reason I cannot. I'm trying to cut and paste, and it doesn't seem to work on this iPad.
You can cut and paste. Sometimes it takes extra steps.
I had to play around with this. It's like, because I'm finally using this for Zoom reading and all that. So I don't know.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Moving on, we can bring ourselves over to Lee Varon.
This is called Egret. Egret, it strides through the marsh at Belle Isle as planes fly into Logan. The president hasn't mentioned drugs since the COVID lockdown began mid-March, yet still addicts die and more every day. They walk through the reeds like snowy egrets. Their ghosts stride through tall grasses. I saw one moving sideways in the birch grove, beckoning. And I have one more. This is called To the Needle Exchange Worker. Some days she's lead-footed, lumbering like a sleepwalker, waiting to be woken. Other days her toes skim the ground and wings push from inside her bent shoulders. She never knows which it will be, but she goes anyhow, into the underground of trap houses with her packet of shiny needles, her small slivers of hope. As she pushes down the memory of her dead child, tries to save the one before her, ragged hangnails bruised beneath his hair. Here she knows love, and she knows what it is to be lost. Thank you.
Poignant.
Thank you, Lee. And we're going to move on now to our orator extraordinaire, Mr. John Sturt. Whoops, I unmuted you by accident. I was going to ask you to unmute. Oh, there you go. You're back.
2 by Yeats and 1 by Eugene Field. William Butler Yeats, The Lamentation of the Old Pension. Although I shelter from the rain under a broken tree, my chair was nearest to the fire in every company that talked of love or politics ere time transfigured me. Though lads are making pikes again in some conspiracy, and crazy rascals rage their fill at human tyranny, my contemplations are of time that has transfigured me. There's not a woman turns her face upon a broken tree, and yet the beauties that I loved are in my memory. I spit into the face of time that has transfigured me. And again, Yeats, The Fiddler of Dooney. When I play on my fiddle in Dooney, folk dance like a wave of the sea. My cousin is priest in Kilvarnet, my brother in Mukharabui. I passed my brother and cousin, they read in their books of prayer. I read in my book of songs I bought at the Sligo Fair. When we come at the end of time to Peter sitting in state, he will call on the 3 old spirits. But call me first through the gate, for the good are always the merry, save by an evil chance, and the merry love to fiddle, and the merry love to dance. And when the folk there spy me, they will all come up to me, with here is the fiddler of Dooney, and dance like a wave of the sea. And finally, Eugene Field, Little Boy Blue. The little toy dog is covered with dust, but sturdy and staunch he stands. The little toy soldier is red with rust, and his musket molds in his hands. Time was when the little toy dog was new, and the soldier was passing fair, and that was the time when our little boy Blue kissed them and put them there. Now don't you go till I come, he said, and don't you make any noise. So toddling off to his trundle bed, he dreamt of the pretty toys. And as he was dreaming, an angel song awakened our little boy Blue. Oh, the years are many, the years are long, but the little toy friends are true. How faithful to little boy Blue they stand, each in the same old place, awaiting the touch of a little hand, the smile of a little face. And they wonder as waiting the long years through, in the dust of that little chair, what has become of our little boy Blue, since he kissed them and put them there. So wrote Eugene Field.
Thank you so much, John.
Thank you, Chad.
And now we're going to bring us to finally, we're getting closer to the end. We'll bring ourselves to our final phone contributor by phone. Let's welcome up Carol Weston. Whoops, let me unmute you 1 sec.
Hi. Hi.
You are up.
I'm doing some more poems that are going to be in Lily Press. Any minute, I don't know. I shake the whale's hand of bones with my own hand of bones on the way up the ramp of the New England Aquarium. I sleep in the sheets, drowned in the ink that helps me think. What is this limpet over my singing soul? From the point of view of the tongue, the lips are a mysterious hole in the wall of the face. The house where I am going. Where I am going is a house that rings true in the wind, blows through like a perpetual bell. It shall be composed of miracle. No eye can see but that acutest to magic, nor any foot fall upon, but that its eye be a light to fires far distant. Ugh. Yeah, thanks. Okay.
Thank you, Carol. I can't wait to actually grab this issue of Lily Poetry Review. I'll definitely put a link to it when it's available.
Thanks.
And let's see who we have coming up. Okay, here we go. Let's actually, before I do this, I feel bad for Chris. Chris, are you able to finish the last part of the poem? Mr. Fitzgerald? Okay, he might be still trying to hook in. So we're going to go now to Mr. Ethan Mackler with the musical interlude. And thank you again for coming, Ethan. Ethan, you're muted.
Sorry.
That's okay. I was telling you 5 times you were muted while I was muted. So, ooh, we all got hit by a stupid stick. I don't know. Thank you, Ethan.
Yay, Ethan.
And now we bring us to once more to our penultimate closer, Mr. James Van Loy.
Thanks, Chad. So I got a short poem here. Its title is actually, it's "Fool me once, fool me twice, you can't get fooled again." That's actually a George W. Bush quote. Fool me once, fool me twice, you can't get fooled again. The most people that
Whatever
die
did he mean by that?
You know, George W. Bush had a special way with language, and there are whole books to help you understand the nuances of his brilliant rhetoric. The most people to die in the pandemic just died in the last 6 weeks. Epidemic of Omicron becomes Omicron 2. After having it once, you can get it again too. It's just like the flu in how it can kill, but it's back every season as it will. But the Chamber of Commerce wants its say. The flow of their profits must hold sway. What better distraction from death and destruction? Let's have a war that could be any greater attraction than an international nuclear conflict, just another fix for the martial addicts. And here's the song for you. When you're alone and life is making you lonely, you can always go downtown.
Downtown.
When you've got worries and all the noise and the hurry seems to help, I know. Downtown.
Downtown.
Just listen to the music of the traffic in the city. Linger on the sidewalks while the neon signs are pretty. How can you lose? The lights are much brighter there. You can forget all your troubles, forget all your cares. So go downtown.
Downtown.
Things will be great when you're
Downtown.
no finer place for sure.
Downtown.
Everything's waiting for you.
Downtown.
Don't hang around
Downtown.
and let your problems surround you. There are movie shows downtown.
Downtown.
Maybe you know some little place to go to where they never close. Downtown.
Downtown.
Just listen to the rhythm of the gentle bossa nova. You'll be dancing with them for the night is over. Happy again. The lights are much brighter there. You can forget all your troubles, forget all your cares. So go
Downtown.
where the lights are bright.
Downtown.
Waiting for you tonight.
Downtown.
You're gonna be all right now.
Downtown.
And you may find somebody
Downtown.
kind to help and understand you there. Someone who is just like
Downtown.
you and needs a gentle hand to guide them along. So maybe I'll see
Downtown.
you there. We can forget all our troubles and forget all our cares and go downtown. Things will be great when we're
Downtown.
don't wait a minute more.
Downtown.
Everything waiting for you.
Town.
Downtown. Downtown.
Downtown.
Downtown.
Town.
Downtown. Thank you.
It has been a night of unexpected duets. Um, we'll leave you on that note as I figure out a way to end my crouton poem tonight. I've been taking notes live, which is not haven't been able to do for a while, but this is an easygoing open mic, and I thank everyone for participating in this and keeping a good vibe. And I hope you all come back next week for Dexter Garcia's feature, her first feature in years. I sent the link earlier. I'm going to send it again to encourage you to visit her website. And I think I might have actually had recorded her. That might have been one of the earlier sessions back in 2015 or 16, where I actually recorded the entire event with a camera and posted online. So I'll have to see if that's one of her shows. But she's also on YouTube and in a couple other ways. And her work is out there on Oddball Magazine as well. So definitely check out her work, check out her website. Consider buying her book next week, and definitely be part of the feature next week. She would love to see a lot of you back. It's been a long time since a lot of the group is from the old Snow Soup days has met, and that's one of the big positives of this Zoom call. We can actually bring them together. So I hope you're a part of that, and I hope you're a part of the other features that are going to be announced in the coming days and weeks. The information for Dexter's event will be posted by tomorrow. I hope you guys stay abreast and consider submitting to Oddball. We could still use your words, especially as we're trying to post more on current events. World War III might be happening. Did you hear? It's at least a couple of people have blogged about it, but it's going to be an interest, and there are some people like Trump who seem to want it. I guess World War III makes any other, it makes him look infinitely better by comparison, but enough of that. Let's end on a positive note. Let's do another wave. I want to see Patricia waving from planet Earth behind her. It says, it's been a fun night, and thank you guys for making it possible. And stay tuned next week for more news. Stay tuned tomorrow. Keep on visiting the Stone Soup website at stonesoupoetry.blogspot.com. Check out my website, chadparentopoetforhire.com. I'm actually working on an article related to a late poet, Tom Veitch, who many of you probably didn't know, but he actually did have a book of poetry that had an afterword by Allen Ginsberg. Tom Veitch actually created a magazine back in the 60s, 70s called Tom Veitch Magazine. It was big in California, and he later got famous helping cartoonists write in underground comics, and he actually ended up writing for Star Wars comics in the 80s before even the movies came, and a lot of his stuff was incorporated. He actually passed away due to COVID, and a lot of people have been talking about his one of the what they call one of the best underground comics ever written, which was called Legion of Charlies. If you check out my website or check out the link, I will post links to my article. I have an article in the works that talks about Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'll actually link to the comic, which is available on an Internet Archive website. So you can actually read this because it's almost impossibly out of print, along with most of Greg Iron's art books, which actually did reprint it, which was the first time I saw it. So that's one of my projects on top of all the hilarious monologues I do during the open mic. Check it out. Jupiter Review is coming out next week. I have a poem in that. And thank you guys for sharing your other work coming up, and continue to share it on the Stone Soup Facebook page. That's a good way to spread the word. And with that, thank you guys very much, and we'll see you all next week. Good luck with keeping on.
Thank you,
Chad, I just want to say I have that comic book.
You do?
I do.
Whoa.
Well, yes, I do. Because I have an underground comic book collection. But I also have the book that he did with Allen Ginsberg, with all of Allen Ginsberg's poetry with his illustrations.
You must bring that up. We must share that at some point.
James.
Yeah.
You just got a lot more interesting.
Next, we're gonna find out he was a luchador wrestler, right, Ethan? We're gonna find out many things. He's got the grace for it. But anyway, wow. We will talk later, sir.
Okay.
And have yourselves a very good night.
Good luck on Planet Earth.
Thanks. Enjoy yourselves.
Night.